Has the world gone mad? Or is this leading to something greater? One of my clients posted something in one of our Facebook groups about the situation unfolding, changing so dramatically, and she was saying it's such a mad world out there, and my response was, well, it's always been this way, but some people are waking up to it, and other people are committing to the fear reality of it, a codependent need to be controlled because of the programming. I created a company years ago. One of my businesses, Heal Our Media, and I was a journalist. Back in the day, I studied journalism in school. A lot of you guys know, in college, double major, journalism and writing, and I had a career in corporate journalism, actually. One of my jobs when I started freelancing was working for the Miami Herald, which was the main newspaper in Florida. I also worked for basically all of the Florida magazines. I traveled a lot. I wrote feature articles. I did a lot of editing as well, editorial work. I learned a lot about the operation of the news, and I also had a TV show that won 2 awards that I created, produced, was the host of, and all that good stuff. But a lot of it was so disconnected for me, and I actually was so disenchanted from media, which after leaving my journalism career, I decided, hi guys, hi Patrick, good to see you. Piome, I'm gonna call you Piome. Piome in the house. You know, a lot of the work that I did was my intention was to speak truth in journalism, to speak the truth. Because in college, the first class actually in journalism that we took was from a professor in his, I think he was Professor Prince. He was 92 years old. He was the most beautiful person. And the first class we took was on the First Amendment. And we had to speak in class about what the First Amendment meant and how important it was, freedom of speech and freedom of the press, and how the media had gone off the deep end, so to speak, by completely removing itself from being a non-objective resource, because basically the news was created to share information that was honest and true, and to share what was going on before they had vehicles and before they could get around from community to community, miles and miles apart, and so the newspapers and the printing press and all of that was to really help people understand what was true and what was going on. But there was one, I believe it was the New York Post. I forget which New York. I think it was the New York Post, but don't quote me on that. But it was one of the New York newspapers that actually sensationalized news for the first time. And what they found was that little journalism info here. They found that the newspaper sold so many articles or so many newspapers beyond anything else they'd ever sold in terms of their paper, and so they needed to print more of that issue because of the sensationalized marketing copy, the actual headline at the front of the newspaper. It was so sensationalized, and as Trump says, it was fake news. It was not real and honest. It was the opposite of that, and so. When I learned about that, it immediately got me into, well, I want to be in journalism and speak the truth. And I have to say, a lot of the editors and owners of publications that I did work for, specifically the magazines, not so much the newspapers, but the magazines gave me a lot of freedom and flexibility. I traveled by boat to the Keys often to write articles, hotels and spas. I would write articles about food. I would interview politicians and celebrities. I did a lot of really cool work, but it wasn't like the deep integrated work that I'm doing now, but it led me to a lot. Anyway, in 2006, I interviewed 4 people from The Secret film, and The Secret, when I found it in 2006, I was like, people are actually talking about this and teaching this, because it was kind of a taboo situation, or at least in my circle, it was kind of a close-knit thing that we talked about spirituality or law of attraction, or when you set your intention, that creates the vibration that you're being, and that attracts things to you in that frequency and alignment. And so anyway, I didn't think anyone outside of my little circle really talked about it. And so The Secret, when it came out in 2006, I was so excited. So I wrote an article for one of the Florida publications. I think it was Aventuras. It was like a business magazine, but they trusted me because I was a feature writer for them for a while. And so I basically, I interviewed NASA as well that month. I remember I talked about the footprint, the ecological footprint. In 2006, I interviewed NASA and asked them questions about our footprint and what we could do. Kind of cool that I thought about that. But anyway, The Secret, it just hit me because of what one of my clients just spoke about in one of our groups here on Facebook. And she, she said, it's a mad, mad world. And so one of the things that came through when I interviewed the people from The Secret was so powerful, because they all talked about the part of us having a split, and they said it's coming. The awakening is coming, whether we like it or not. The consciousness is it's coming forward, and so it in 2006 they started talking about how. And Eckhart Tolle, if you guys know Eckhart Tolle, he talks a lot about he wrote about the new earth, and that's basically what it meant. The new earth, meaning like the new consciousness that is evolving on earth. So it's basically, The Secret, the people in The Secret were sharing with me that there's going to be a split down the middle. They said no color in between, basically, or basically like Dorothy in Wizard of Oz, when she goes from black and white to color. It's kind of like that, where it's like black and white, fear-based reality. No, I don't want to know what's going on. I don't want to speak my truth, versus, the color reality, which is like, anything's possible, and I have limitless potential, and I can control how I feel about myself and be non-reactive in the experience, and choose to have ease, and choose to have compassion, and choose to be on a path of least resistance, right? Choose to be on a path that inspires me, versus choosing to be in default mode, autopilot mode, in this fear-based, controlled reality. Yes, control me. I don't know how to make my own decisions. Reality. And so The Secret, the speakers, the presenters, they talked to me about the divide that was coming, and they said, you will see it so clearly. They said, you will see the divide between those who are going to stick to their old world, and they said that's going to be dying off, the old world mentality, and then the new world, the new earth, as Eckhart said, the new consciousness coming forward. And so to share with you guys, in one respect, the mad craziness of the world is basically like the first part of waking up for people, to basically, that's actually been happening forever. That's what's been behind the curtain. The Wizard of Oz, remember when he opened up the curtain, the wizard, that's actually been there the whole time. I'm just now seeing that it's there, and now I get to decide, do I become the subject to the fear-based reality, refusing to hold on to what I believe, and just allow myself to be controlled by some other force that tells me how to live, or am I going to embody the truth? And so for me, that's what Heal Our Media really represented. And so when I interviewed the presenters of The Secret, they were excited because I was like, I created Heal Our Media to speak the truth in the journalism world, and they were so excited. But they were like, yeah, you're gonna see this divide come, and it's gonna be intense, and we need to prepare for it. And so for some of us, I've been doing that work to prepare for 18 years now. So I've been on that path. But it's a continual path, it's a practice. Just like, hi, Ryan. Hi, Janet. Just like, my teachers always say, if you want to get somewhere, being in this three-dimensional reality, we have to take one step at a time. I can't just leap across. I could, get a bird suit and do one of those things my friend does where he jumps off the cliff in his bird suit. But I don't have a bird suit, and I don't know if I want one in this forest here. So I have to take one step at a time, and I have to be patient with myself and stay uplifted so I don't hurt myself, right? I don't want to get distracted. I know where I'm going. But the point here is, the practice is we get to define how we be on the path. We get to define how we experience the path. We get to embody that for ourselves. That's our own experience. That's it. I mean, that's the human potential, is we get to cultivate that experience for ourselves, within ourselves. However, the problem is when we are associating our experience from an external and then trying to bring that in and make sense of it and use that as our is never going to fulfill, satisfy. It doesn't make any sense because it's just not real. And so most people that now are waking up to the madness, being like, well, I don't want to feel that. That's not where I'm at. So that's what a lot of these people who've been teaching on this for many years have shared with us. And so it's a practice. And so I come out again barefoot, to stay focused, to stay intentional, to stay on point with myself, and also to constantly be recreating the experience in the moment, because you can't have the same experience here. Every moment is so different and unique. And I like to work my feet out on these beautiful roots here, and it's just every step is so unique and so different and so powerful. And so in the moment, there's no way that I can be out of the moment. Even connecting with you, I'm bringing the internal experience to myself, and I'm deciding how that feels for me. Am I going to decide to hold on to the chaos? And the practice on the path is, even as the Buddha taught, even in the moment of death, even when death approaches, he said, you want to meditate on that because you want to be prepared, so that you don't connect or attach your mind experience to something that's not going to be good in the letting go phase. And so my practice now, as things have gotten kind of wild out in the world, I'm really practicing like, well, what would happen if things got really bad, So I'm practicing like calming down in that state within myself, and realizing that I have the capability to do that, and that's something that we all want to practice, to be able to embody that within ourselves and not be a subject to the external reality that is faux, it's fake, it's false, it's not true. How could it be? Because it's not coming from you. So that's really where we want to be at. And it just reminded me of that when I saw the message on Nina quoting the Dalai Lama. Love it, Nina. Yeah. So, I just wanted to share that with you. Wasn't going to share another barefoot journey today because I am in a productive mode, so you probably won't hear from me later unless something comes up that I must share with you guys. So I'll leave you with that. I just want to show you before. It's just such a powerful place to be, connected, rooted, anchored, focused, intentional. Every moment, very intentional. I love my path. My path is perfect. It's leading me to exactly where I want to be. Finding that energy within myself. And because I'm connecting with that within myself, that's how I'm experiencing myself in the reality. That's how my reality is expressing itself, because I'm tapping into that place within. So guys, you choose which way you go. No judgment from my end, but I know where I'm going. I know what end of the spectrum I'm tuning into. So thoughts below, guys, insights below. Happy is a choice and a practice, as I've learned.